The first cry cut through the marble halls like a crack of lightning. It was sharp, desperate, and impossibly small for a place built for power and silence. Adrian Vale, the billionaire whose name alone could freeze boardrooms, stood motionless beside the glass cradle. His newborn son, wrapped in white, blinking at a world far larger than him, gripped Adrian's finger with surprising strength. In that instant, the man who owned cities felt owned by something far greater. And that was the moment a trembling whisper rose from behind him, barely louder than a breath. "Sir, this baby isn't yours." Before the shock could settle, let me ask you something. If you enjoy emotional stories that twist your heart and leave you inspired, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Stories like this remind us that truth always finds its way home. Adrian turned slowly. Standing near the doorway was Lena, the maid's daughter. She was barely 19, eyes wide with fear, hands clenched so tightly her knuckles had turned white. She had grown up in this mansion's shadows, learning to stay invisible. No one listened when girls like her spoke, especially not to men like Adrian Vale. The room fell silent, heavy with disbelief. Doctors paused. Nurses exchanged looks. Adrian's face hardened, the tenderness draining away like warmth from stone. "What did you say?" he asked quietly, though everyone felt the danger in his calm. Lena swallowed. "I'm sorry, sir. I know how it sounds. But, you deserve to know." The words hit like an insult wrapped in pity. Adrian's wife, Evelyn, pale and exhausted from childbirth, lifted her head. Confusion flickered across her face, quickly replaced by hurt. "Why would you say something like that?" she whispered. Tears pooled in her eyes, not just from pain, but from betrayal she didn't yet understand. Security moved toward Lena, but Adrian raised a hand. Something in the girl's shaking voice had pierced him. He had built his empire by listening to numbers, to instincts, to warnings others ignored. "Explain," he said. Lena's voice cracked as she spoke. She told them how her mother, Rosa, had worked as a maid for decades. How Rosa had once been young too, once frightened, once silenced. Lena didn't know everything, only fragments overheard in late-night whispers and tears wiped away before dawn. But one thing her mother had made her promise: if a baby was ever born in this house under certain circumstances, Lena must speak. The room buzzed with disbelief and anger. Doctors urged Adrian to ignore the girl. Evelyn turned away, sobbing softly. Yet Adrian felt something unsettling stir in his chest. He ordered a DNA test, not because he believed Lena, but because doubt, once planted, demanded answers. The wait was torture. Days passed in slow agony. The mansion that once echoed with success now felt hollow. Adrian avoided the nursery. Evelyn barely spoke. Lena and her mother were dismissed quietly, sent away before rumors could spread. Adrian told himself it was for order, not fear. But late at night, he replayed Lena's words over and over. When the results arrived, they shattered everything. The child was not Adrian's. The paper trembled in his hands. For the first time in decades, the world did not bend to his will. Rage came first, hot, blinding. Then grief. Then a cold, suffocating emptiness. Evelyn collapsed when she heard the truth, screaming through tears that she had never betrayed him. And she was right. The truth was more twisted than anyone imagined. Further tests revealed the impossible: the baby was biologically related to Adrian, not as a son, but as a nephew. The past came rushing back like a forgotten storm. Adrian had once had a younger brother, Daniel, who disappeared years ago after a bitter fight. Daniel had fallen in love with Rosa, the maid. A love that was forbidden, mocked, crushed by class and power. Adrian had chosen his empire over his brother, his silence over justice. Daniel vanished. Rosa stayed, broken and alone, carrying secrets no one wanted to hear. The baby was Daniel's grandson. Rosa's daughter, Lena, was Daniel's child. The maid's daughter was his niece. And the baby in the cradle was family. Adrian felt the weight of his choices press down on him like never before. All his money could not rewrite the past. He found Rosa and Lena living in a small, crumbling apartment. When he knocked on the door, Rosa thought she was dreaming. The powerful man who had never looked at her now stood with tears in his eyes, asking for forgiveness. It wasn't given easily. But healing rarely is. Adrian brought them back, not as servants, but as family. He told the truth publicly, risking scandal, reputation, everything he once worshipped. The media feasted on the story, but Adrian stood firm. For the first time, he chose people over power. The baby grew surrounded by love, not lies. Lena returned to school, her future no longer stolen by silence. Rosa smiled again, slowly, carefully, like someone learning how to breathe after years underwater. Evelyn, broken but honest, chose to stay not for wealth, but for truth. In the end, Adrian learned the lesson no fortune had ever taught him: blood is not just about DNA, but about responsibility, courage, and the willingness to face the truth, no matter how painful. And if this story touched your heart, remember, truth may whisper, but it never stays silent forever. Like, subscribe, and stay with us for more stories that remind us what really matters.